back to A Glittery Life. Okay, you guys, I have been like dying to film all about the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani collaboration. This palette came while I was sick, and so actually today was the first time that I even got to play with it, but I wanted to swatch it for you and I wanted to kind of talk about what I think about it. So I'm going to go ahead and do those swatches for you. Listen, I know you've seen a lot of it. Like, a lot of people have talked about this. A lot of people have been showing this. A lot of people have their opinions, but you know what? I know you trust me and you want to know what my opinion is, so I'm going to give it to you today. That's what the inside looks like. But before we even get into that, let's talk about the packaging. How cute is this? I love it. I love anything gold, black, and white. Honestly, I want my whole like room, office, like I don't have an office, but if I had an office, I want everything gold, black, and white. Like, I just love it. I think it's so sophisticated. I have a whole pin on Pinterest, a whole board on Pinterest that's all like this kind of theme. So I like that. I like that it has a big full-size mirror in it. And I like that. I think it's cute. It says magic's in the makeup is what it says on there. And then it comes with 15 shadows on the inside. And these are not quite the same size as a MAC shadow. They are a little bit smaller, not by much, but it was noticeable for me when I first saw it. I was like, oh, that's actually smaller than I was anticipating. But I do think you still get plenty of product. It's hard for me to ever go through eyeshadows, especially a palette. And anyway, before we get on to swatches, I want to just talk about the fact that this is the most perfect neutrals palette that I've ever seen. Now, I know some of you are like, all you can see is that blue shadow right in the middle, that navy blue, which is stunning, by the way. I have that on my lower lash line today, and I know most of you look at this palette and you can't get past that navy. But look at what happens if I cover that up. It is a neutrals palette. It's a perfect neutrals palette. And you don't want a neutrals palette where you don't have a pop of color. That navy kind of allows you to have a pop of color if you want to do something interesting, and with, you know, like, then you have this like pink and gold that give you a little bit more of like something exciting as well. But if you just had like this bottom row, I know for some of you that's like a neutral dream come true, but that's actually really boring and would be difficult to create like a lot of dimension in your eye look. In fact, even today I used a bunch of colors and still felt like the eye look was a little bit flat. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't love the palette. I think it's great, but I am going to have to play around with it a little bit more, figuring out whether this is a complete palette for me or not. So, but I think it's phenomenal. It's worth the splurge. If you have your Sephora VIB $20 or $25 gift card right now, I would definitely get this. This is limited edition. You don't want to miss it. So let's swatch this top row. So this first color is Blondie. It has a little bit more of a yellow undertone. It is definitely a highlight shade and it has a sheen to it. Not a shimmer, not a glitter, but it does have a sheen. That's blonde. Next up is Bathwater, and this is a beautiful yellow gold. Next up is Skimp. This is a little bit more of a neutral champagne. Right there, that is Skimp. These shades are really similar to me. I think they're beautiful. They're all easy to use, but I would have liked to have seen one of these be a matte and kind of given me a little bit more options for a brow bone highlight that's not a shimmer. Next is Steady, and this is definitely like in the rose gold family, but I think it's a little bit more orange than rose gold. Last on that row is Punk, and this is a matte brown with a little bit of a red undertone. That right there is one swatch. I feel like it's pretty good color payoff considering it's a matte, and really just is going to be easily to build. I wore this today in my crease and felt like it blended out beautifully, and that it also is buildable. So that is the first row right there. Starting on the second row, this is Baby. Probably will be a favorite for most people. Now that is more of a rose gold to me than Steady is. Steady pulls a little bit more orange, and Baby has a little bit more of that like just true rose gold tone to it. It's very beautiful. Next is Anaheim, and this is your nice soft brown. This is your perfect transition color. I love this. It has a little bit of a champagne undertone to it, And I love that it's called Anaheim because Gwen is an Orange County girl just like I am, and obviously Anaheim is home to Disneyland, my favorite place ever. So you can see that's a beautiful transition color and definitely more on the cooler toned, which I like. Next is Stark. This is another one of the mattes in the palette. And the best way to describe Stark, and it's going to be really hard to tell because it's very close to my flesh tone, is it's a peach. It's like a flesh tone peach, and you can't even see it on me, but it looks very similar to my skin tone. Next is Stark is Zone, which is just a like brown basically. You can see it's a little bit cooler toned brown, really wearable. This row is a great row in the palette, and some of you might even be able to get away with that. If you have that dark blonde hair, you might be able to get away using Zone in your brows, but for a matte, it's really pigmented and very buttery. I liked it a lot. Last in the second row is Serious. This is a beautiful gray matte. And I'm not sure if it's because I have been swatching, but that does look like it has a little bit of a sheen to it. So that might not be a matte, a true matte, but you can see how pigmented and how buttery it is. That is just one swatch. This is Pop, first color on the third row. It is a peach champagne shimmer. It is definitely like buttery, definitely pigmented, and you're gonna have fallout with that shade. Aren't we all so happy that she has a color named Harajuku? It is just Barbie pink. It's so cute and kind of just really fun. If you have a hard time wearing those, my friend Susie, if you don't follow her on Blushed and Bronzed, on her blog or on Instagram, I'll link it down below, but she was talking to me that she likes mixing these two together, and I can't blame her because sometimes pink is a little bit hard to pull off, but Harajuku and Pop mixed together would be really pretty. A gorgeous navy blue. I mean, that is something else. It's so spectacular. And the swatch, that is one swipe. So you can see how pigmented this is and how beautiful this is. I honestly think this is gonna throw people off in terms of the palette, but it is really stunning. If you're gonna do a blue eye look, this is the kind of blue that you wanna do an eye look with. Next is 1987, and this is just a very beautiful yellow gold. Super pretty, especially if you have that medium to deep skin tone. 1987 is going to be stunning on your like skin tone, but so pretty. I would like to see, I'm going to do a look where I just have that packed all over the lid, because you can use these wet or dry. Of course, every Urban Decay palette and every palette in general typically has a matte black, and I love this blackout. This is a great matte black. I use this along my lash line today. And you can see that that is a serious black matte eyeshadow. Great coverage, buttery, not streaky, not chalky. And if you're using that wet, you're gonna get a beautiful black liner. So all in all, you can see really wearable and very neutral. I think if you are looking for that like everyday perfect eyeshadow palette, this is it. If you're on the fence, if you have like always been kind of debating between the Naked palettes 1, 2, 3 or Smoky, which most people do not need the Smoky palette, let's be honest, because how many of you wear a smoky eye every day? Not many of you. But if you've been wondering like which of those palettes to get, just get this one. I think this is sort of like the best of everything. And I love that it's got new colors. I love that it's got limited edition colors, and honestly, really, really wearable. I will be taking this with me through the holidays, all my holiday travel, and you'll probably see it in some favorites videos in January. So thanks so much for watching, you guys, and thumbs up this video if you love this palette or if you got it. I like ordered this thing at like in the middle of the night basically, so I was not missing this. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was not gonna miss it. So great palette, great release, and let me know what your thoughts are down below. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.